From Arkansas's breaking news leader, Fox 16 News at 9 starts now.
He lived a lot of life in that 32 years.
He loved football. He had a great passion. Had great positive energy. I can't remember one time that I felt like he had a bad day.
A guy like Mitch Petrus, man, that's a guy he's a joy to be around, man. He can put a smile on anybody's face, brighten up any room that he walks into.
We'll always remember Mitch, no doubt about that.
Former Arkansas Razorback and Fearless Friday reporter Mitch Petrus dead at the age of 32 after suffering a heat stroke on Thursday. Good evening, everyone. Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Donna Terrell.
I'm Kevin Kelly. Petrus's personality, enthusiasm, and love for life captured the hearts of many, both on and off the field. He played for the Hogs until he was drafted in the NFL in 2010. He played for the Giants, the Patriots, even the Tennessee Titans. Petrus was also a high school football analyst for Fox 16 and was a reporter for our Fearless Friday football show. His larger-than-life, infectious personality felt and noticed by many.
He loved football. He had a great passion. Had great positive energy. I can't remember one time that I felt like he had a bad day. He was just one of those real positive people that had great positive energy.
Petrus was well known and made an everlasting impact on the lives of the people he encountered every single day.
And Petrus' death affecting people across the state and the country. Fox 16 photojournalist Jay Burr spoke with a family friend today from Petrus's hometown of Carlisle.
Saw a text that my nephew and brother had been talking about it, and it's just like, that can't be. But unfortunately, it was true. Just real sadness. I guess it was surreal at first. You just couldn't believe that something like that would happen.
Mitch Petrus was the quintessential success story. Small-town high school football star makes it all the way to the pinnacle of the NFL. But this little bird from Carlisle wasn't destined to stay in the Big Apple.
Said a lot when he came back here and decided to put down some roots and stay in this area.
Craig Ferguson, who's known Mitch his whole life and is the co-owner of Nick's Barbecue in Carlisle, where Mitch was a regular, will tell you that the big personality he had wasn't an act, it was who he was.
That was totally Mitch, and we loved him. He was great.
And it's just that big personality that people will remember about him the most.
You could be having the worst day of your life, and Mitch could walk in and you forget about all your troubles.
And although Nick's Barbecue won't have one of its regulars to eat, it doesn't mean that he won't still be around.
We'll always remember Mitch, no doubt about that. He lived a lot of life in that 32 years.
He had so much personality.
Yeah, and he certainly enjoyed every minute of it.
Yes, he did.
Of course, we here in the newsroom are mourning and remembering him tonight, along with fans, team members, and former coaches.
There is a long list of comments, but tonight we want to share a few of them with you, starting with the Arkansas Razorbacks. The team sharing their condolences on Twitter tonight, saying, "We are deeply saddened by the passing of Mitch Petrus. He was an outstanding competitor, incredible teammate, and a true hog. He will be greatly missed by many. Rest easy, Mitch."
The New York Giants also weighing in, saying, quote, "We are saddened to hear of Mitch's passing. Our thoughts go out to Mitch's family and friends."
And Coach Tim Horton with Vanderbilt University said this: "Thoughts and prayers are with the family of Mitch Petrus, who passed away last night. The former Razorback football and Giants and Carlisle, Arkansas standout was such a joy to be around. What a wonderful person."
And this just into Fox 16. A public memorial will be held this Sunday in honor of Petrus. The event will be held at the Carlisle Bison Gym at 3 p.m. For more on Mitch Petrus's legacy, be sure to head to our website, fox16.com. And keep this in mind, our coverage continues this evening with Sports Director Wes Moore, who will join us later in tonight's newscast.
Now, weather to plan your day with Fox 16 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin.
Well, actually, just very average temperatures across the state for high temperatures for this time of year in the low to mid 90s. But the real story was the humidity. Just so humid out there, certainly made it feel a lot hotter than low to mid 90s. Felt like well over 100 degrees across much of the state today, and that's going to be the case again as we go into tomorrow. Temperatures right now still in the low to mid 80s, still 83 in Little Rock, 85 right now in Hot Springs as well as Stuttgart. Then you factor in the humidity, and it is pretty steamy out there. Feels almost sauna-like with heat index values still in the low 90s. Actually still feels like 100 around Arkadelphia at 9 o'clock at night. 93 is what it feels like around Russellville, and the heat index 90 right now in Little Rock. Certainly a very warm and steamy summer evening across Arkansas. Satellite and radar showing mostly clear skies. Few clouds from the east from some showers and thunderstorms that developed across parts of the southeast today. Those showers and thunderstorms are dying off, and most of this moisture is going to stay to our southeast as we go into tomorrow. So not expecting much in terms of any chance of rain for tomorrow, for your Saturday. Starting off mostly sunny, staying mostly sunny. A few fair weather clouds during the afternoon, but rain chances slim to none. Just hot and humid as we go through the day tomorrow. Here's that hour-by-hour forecast. Starting off, temperatures in the mid-70s, warming up quickly near 90 by lunchtime, low 90s for highs. Again, heat index values over 100. But we are talking about a midsummer cold front coming our way for early next week. We'll talk about that in your 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
A breaking news update tonight. We are hearing from the family of fallen Stone County Sheriff Sergeant Mike Stephen.
He was doing his job, and he did it right to the end.
Fox 16's Mitch McCoy has more on the legacy Sergeant Stephen leaves behind.
The veteran law enforcement officer laid his life on the line. He was shot and killed while responding to a domestic call. Late Thursday, his body was escorted to Little Rock for autopsy. Today, his body returned home. Remembering a hometown hero, a procession through Stone County.
He just touched so many people.
Susan Stephen remembers her husband, Sergeant Mike Stephen, the man who paid the ultimate sacrifice for his community.
I wished I had a chance to tell him I loved him before he left for work.
He made his mark in the world.
Stephen's parents say the veteran law enforcement officer was born to serve.
And I would have never dreamed that flags would be flying at half-mast.
For our boy.
As the fallen deputy's body returns home to Stone County, the people closest to him are proud to call Mike Stephen family.
We're honored to be his parents.
He's survived by his wife and 4 other children who also serve in their own ways. We're told he'll be laid to rest next to his son Joe in a small private cemetery. A public service is in the works, but plans have not been released.
All right, Mitch, thank you. Fox 16's coverage of Deputy Mike Stephen's shooting continues online. This Sunday night at 7:30, join us for a special edition of Arkansas Crime Watch. Deputy killed in the line of duty. Mitch McCoy will go into the investigation. Deputies Stephen's life and sacrifice. That's this Sunday, 7:30, only on Fox16.com.
Well, turning now to Polk County, where authorities say a 15-year-old is facing a first-degree murder charge. According to the Polk County Sheriff, 52-year-old Edward Eugene Arnold of Atkins was shot and killed Thursday. It happened just outside Atkins. The suspect is being held in the Yell County Juvenile Detention Center on a $300,000 bond. Her name has not been released because of her age.
Police in Lee County need your help this evening, finding 3 people wanted for capital murder. Last night, officers responded to a shooting at a home on the 200 block of California Street in Marianna. Police say they found 40-year-old Israel Gordon with what appeared to be a single gunshot wound to the neck. Darren Smith and Terry Roystone are now accused of killing Gordon. A third suspect has not been identified. The suspects are believed to be in a black Chevy Silverado with the license plate number 6ROV.
A safety alert tonight. Next Monday, the Benton City Council will vote on approving a safe haven box to be placed at one of the fire stations. This is what it will look like. A safe haven box is a place a person can take an abandoned infant without fear of prosecution. If passed by the Benton City Council, this will be the first safe haven baby box in the state. The Benton Fire Chief says It would be funded completely by private donations. There would be no cost to the city. The city council meets Monday at 7.
The Arkansas Department of Health warning people about rabies. So far this year, there have been 19 confirmed cases in animals. In Pike County, which is in southwest Arkansas, 2 confirmed cases were found in horses. And in Pulaski County, there have been 5 positive cases found in bats.
Well, coming up, Japan dealing with the deadliest attack the country has experienced in almost 20 years. What came out today as officials continue to investigate the suspect and the murder?
And as we go to break, we want to share with you some memorable moments from Mitch Petrus' time with us on Fearless Friday. This is what Ben Creighton remembers most.
You know, I can go on and on and on about the many times that he made me laugh, whether it was on Final Score, on Fearless Friday or whatever, but he always knew how to put a smile on your face every single time.
Airlift Concrete Experts is your go-to company for trouble with any settling concrete. We use a structural polyurethane that is injected beneath the structure to raise it back to a level state. And every job we do has a warranty. Call Mike at Airlift Concrete Experts.
Try the new grilled chicken strawberry salad. Fresh greens piled with feta cheese, crisp cucumbers, candied pecans, 100% all-natural grilled tenders, topped with farm-fresh strawberries. It's only for a limited time at Slim Chickens.
I switched from Dodge.
We switched from Ford.
I switched from Ram. I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy. We switched to Chevy.
For dependability.
For these guys.
And just look at it.
We switched to Chevy.
See for yourself why people are switching at the Chevy All-Star Open House.
Get over $4,100 below MSRP on this Equinox. Plus, current GM owners get an additional $1,000 cash allowance. See your Arkansas Best Chevy dealer.
Community. It's found in sharing the things we love. Around a table with friends, celebrating life's greatest moments. Wherever we come together, community is working, living, caring for our neighbors. Unity Health, not just healthcare, a community.
When a bear is chasing you, you take off faster than a toupee in a fan factory. Move that fast to the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event, where for the first time ever, get 20% estimated savings on select Ford SUVs. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. Word to the wise, don't get left behind, because missing this deal on the SUV's #1 in brand loyalty will come back to bite you. Get in or lose out on 20% estimated savings on select Ford SUVs. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards.
For 50 years, Cracker Barrel has been cooking homestyle favorites to perfection. We thought we'd celebrate by making our golden anniversary extra golden. Introducing new, crispy, juicy Southern Fried Chicken. Now at Cracker Barrel.
Want a relaxing pedicure?
Relaxing pedicure? My feet get so dry and cracked, I need serious relief. That's why I use O'Keeffe's for healthy feet. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked feet. Thanks to O'Keeffe's, I got my feet back.
Try the new grilled chicken strawberry salad. Fresh greens piled with feta cheese, crisp cucumbers, candied pecans, 100% all-natural grilled tenders, topped with farm-fresh strawberries. It's only for a limited time at Slim Chickens.
Fox 16 News is sponsored by Arkansas's best Chevy dealers. Now, weather to plan your day with Fox 16 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin.
Well, just maybe it's my imagination, but I think it cooled off out there a little bit tonight. Am I wrong?
It's not quite as hot as it was last night at this time.
I'm right.
I mean,
do you think he would call you out if you were wrong?
Are you kidding me? Yes, he would call me out. Yes, this is Jeffrey we're talking about.
All right, just checking.
Yes.
The heat advisory that was in effect did expire at 8 o'clock this evening. Now, that being said, it's still pretty warm and humid out there.
I'm not saying it's cool, but it's just not as hot and humid.
But next week, we're talking about some real relief.
Yes, we are.
Heat. A midsummer break from the heat and humidity in Arkansas, something we don't necessarily get a whole lot of. As we take a look at what we can expect as far as the heat goes, this is the forecast heat index when you take into account not only the temperature, but the humidity. Yeah, the humidity, when it's really muggy out there, as you know, it just makes it feel quite a bit hotter, and that's certainly been the case over the last few days with the very high humidity levels. Heat index values near 105, which is getting into the danger category. Will be close to that as we go into the weekend, generally between 100 and 105. But as we go into next week, we get a cold front, and that brings in some drier and milder air. So by the middle of next week, instead of heat index near 105, how about mid-80s? The humidity is going to be low enough that it's really not going to make too much of a difference. And that cooler air, the milder air at least, is going to stick around likely through much of late next week and even into the weekend with below normal temperatures likely as we get towards the end of July across much of the southeast. So here's what's going on right now. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms across the southeast. Weak upper air disturbance. This is not moving all that much. So tomorrow is going to be very much a repeat of what we saw today. And outside that little area of showers and thunderstorms, temperatures quite hot today with highs well up into the 90s across much of the area, even hundreds, triple digits around Wichita, western Kansas, 105, 100 around Abilene. Of course, the humidity level is not quite as high over the plain states, but then the hotter temperatures, of course, make up for that. And the 90s pretty far north, even areas such as Minneapolis over towards Chicago, temperatures in the 90s with heat index values over 110. It actually felt hotter in Chicago than it did in Little Rock today. That's saying quite a bit because it was certainly hot enough here. Temperatures right now across the state generally in the low to mid 80s. 81 in Searcy, still 85 in Stuttgart, 85 right now in Hot Springs, and low 80s south, 82 right now in Pine Bluff. Right now, Little Rock area, mostly clear skies in our Crane current conditions camera, 83 degrees, but then you factor in that humidity, and it still feels like 90 degrees out there, even though the sun is long gone. It's dark out. You walk outside, it still almost feels like daytime heat. Winds out of the south at 6 miles per hour. So not too much of a breeze to really cool things off that much. Now, as we take a look at our forecast map, tomorrow, not a whole lot of change. Once again, some showers and thunderstorms developing mainly east of Arkansas with that upper air disturbance. Rain chances slim to none across Arkansas, though on Sunday, may get an isolated shower or thunderstorm, especially across parts of eastern Arkansas. Some of that moisture tries to work its way a little farther west, and then much higher rain chances on Monday. We'll have some widespread showers and thunderstorms around as a cold front comes on through. A couple of heavy downpours, some isolated thunderstorms with that front during the day on Monday, and then the drier air starts to come on in. You'll start to feel that difference, especially by the time we get towards Tuesday morning. You'll notice that much different feel to the air. It'll almost have maybe a hint of fall in the air during the morning hours, but it's still going to be pretty warm during the day with temperatures well up into the 80s. But certainly some milder and much drier air than what we would normally see in late July and early August, which is typically the hottest time of the year in Arkansas, especially about that first week or two of August. That's usually when we have the hottest temperatures across the state. So for tomorrow, temperatures starting off in the mid-70s, pretty warm and muggy, up near 90 by the afternoon or by lunchtime, up into the low to mid-90s for afternoon highs. You factor in the humidity, heat index values 100 to 105. So again, not quite in the danger category, but still hot enough. You certainly want to make sure that if you're outside, even if it's not for that long, you're drinking plenty of water. Don't wait until you get thirsty to drink water, because by the time you feel thirsty, you're already starting to get dehydrated. And try to stay out of the sun and use sunscreen as we go into the evening hours. Temperatures dropping down into the low to mid 80s. So pretty much like it is right now. So let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. Sunday, only a couple of isolated showers, highest rain chances east. Monday, a few scattered showers and thunderstorms, the clouds around. That brings temperatures down a little bit, but then here comes that drier and less humid air as we get towards the middle of the week. Highs only in the mid 80s Tuesday and Wednesday, but check out these morning lows well down in the 60s. We could even have a few spots down into the upper 50s, especially across parts of northern Arkansas by the middle part of next week, but we're back up to near 90 by Friday. Kevin and Donna.
All right, Jeff, thank you. A Charlotte couple found shot to death on a Canadian highway. Hear from one of the victims' mothers tonight and where authorities stand in this case.
And we continue to remember the life of our good friend and co-worker Mitch Petrus. Shaylin Kirkman was one of the producers for the Fearless Friday show. This is what she had to say.
We would sit in anticipation in the control room just waiting to see what Mitch was going to do that night. I mean, his sports reports were infectious. I mean, he would put on these crazy costumes and he just brought all this energy, and the community always loved him.
From the start, C-Class was ahead of its time. Still, we never stopped making it stronger, faster, smarter. Because to be the best is to never, ever stop making it better. There's never been a better time to become part of the Mercedes-Benz family. Lease the C300 sedan for just $389 a month at the Mercedes-Benz summer event. Hurry in now. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Hello, I'm Mike Rainwater, and I applaud the efforts of KARK and FOX16 taking a stand to create a safer Central Arkansas through their Victory Over Violence campaign. At Rainwater, Holt & Sexton, we do our part, so each month we feature a difference maker. We give $1,000 to a group or organization that truly makes an impact on the lives of others. It'll take all of us to declare victory over violence.
The 2019 Cadillacs are made for summer and made to move. Get 0% APR for 72 months plus $1,000 on most 2019 Cadillac models when you finance through GM Financial. Visit your Central Arkansas Cadillac dealers for this attractive offer.
Have you heard? Tempur-Pedic sleep is better sleep.
With innovative memory foam developed by NASA, Tempur-Pedic mattresses reduce motion transfer,
Which means less tossing and turning so you can sleep undisturbed through the night. But which Tempur-Pedic is right for you? Come to Denver Mattress and test for yourself. Let our expert sales staff guide you to your perfect Tempur-Pedic. And rest easy knowing it's backed by our 365-night better sleep guarantee. Shop Denver Mattress today, your Tempur-Pedic elite retailer.
When the hot sun hits your ice cream, lick fast, like a cookie dough ninja. Apply that same speed to the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event. For the first time ever, get 20% estimated savings on select Ford models. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. It all adds up. Don't you love math? So get here ASAP because tasty deals in summer go fast. Get in or lose out on 20% estimated savings on select Ford models. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards.
My name is Paula Steinsick. My husband was Frank Steinsick, and he was murdered on February the 11th, 2015. He went to sell a motorcycle off of Craigslist and was shot and killed. The person left him there in the parking lot to die. Help Arkansas declare victory over violence.
Getting results for you. Fox 16 investigates. You're watching Fox 16 News at 9. Covering Pine Bluff, Arkadelphia, Little Rock, and all of Central Arkansas.
The suspect at the center of Japan's worst mass killing in almost 20 years has been identified. 41-year-old Shinji Aoba is suspected of carrying out an arson attack on a Kyoto animation studio. At least 33 people lost their lives in that attack. Today, police said the suspect has unspecified mental health issues. Be sure to follow us on air and online at fox16.com for more developments in this story in the coming days.
A couple in love found shot to death earlier this week on a remote Canadian highway. The victims, an American woman from Charlotte, North Carolina, and her Australian boyfriend. Now, while the investigation is underway to find the suspects, the mother of Shina Dees is remembering her daughter. Genevieve Curtis spoke with her today.
She was happy. She was so happy, and that gives me comfort.
On her couch surfing page, 24-year-old China D says her current mission is traveling the world and looking to meet new people and experience new places from a local's point of view.
To be honest, I was not worried about her going to Canada because she'd already been there before. Lucas was with her.
China's mom tells me the two were spending 2 weeks traveling in a van across Canada to visit all of the national parks. They were headed towards Alaska.
They had mapped out their route, and to my understanding, the van broke down, and that's where tragedy happened.
Canadian police found the young couple had been shot to death alongside their van on a remote highway. While the investigation continues, her mom tells me she wants to remember China and Lucas and their love story.
This is what makes me really happy. Their story is it is something you would read in a novel. They had plans for the future. I mean, they were meant to be. She loved him so much.
And that is so heartbreaking. Investigators in Canada hope the release of the victims' names can spur tips from the public in this case.
An unusual warning for some people in Van Buren County as authorities announce a 10-foot-long boa constrictor is now on the loose. What's being done to find the slithering snake and how people are responding.
Plus, a Little Rock City director proposing improvements to parks as a way to curb crime. More on his thinking behind this proposal. And we're going to take a quick break, but you've probably noticed tonight we are remembering Mitch Petrus. Here's another memorable moment, this one from Wes Moore. He's talking about Mitch's time spent on Fearless Friday.
People are requesting Mitch to come to their football game when coaches are calling me and saying, hey, when are you going to send Mitch Petrus to one of our games? We want Mitch there. That's the best compliment in the world.
Where's Daddy? Where'd he go?
The 2019 Nissan Rogue with available Nissan Safety Shield 360. This is all-around protection. This is Nissan Intelligent Mobility. Save up to $3,500 on the 2019 Rogue or get 0% financing for up to 60 months on 12 models.
Worldwide Weapons in Bryant is your one-stop shop for all your firearm needs. We offer a huge selection of new and used weapons with everything from hunting rifles, handguns, and shotguns to tactical rifles, cowboy action pistols, and collectible firearms. Worldwide Weapons also has a huge selection of knives and archery equipment in stock. Come by today and see what makes Worldwide Weapons your best bet for your next firearm purchase. With over 1,000 guns in stock and layaway available, only at Worldwide Weapons.
When a bear is chasing you, you take off faster than a toupee in a fan factory. Move that fast to the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event, where for the first time ever, get 20% estimated savings on select Ford SUVs. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. Word to the wise, don't get left behind, because missing this deal on the SUV's #1 in brand loyalty will come back to bite you. Get in or lose out on 20% estimated savings on select Ford SUVs. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards.
You don't have to be hot while you sleep. Mattress King can cool you down. The all-new Tempur-Pedic Breeze only at Mattress King transfers heat away from your body, so you sleep up to 8 degrees cooler.
Nobody beats the king, Mattress King.
Shred. Sip. Send. Repeat. In Little Rock, we're all about the good times. Inside and out. Little Rock. Good times with a southern accent. Come see us.
Here's your Buick, sir. Actually, that's my Buick.
How are we gonna fit in your mom's Buick?
Easy.
I like that new Buick.
Me too.
I was actually talking about that Buick.
I knew that.
Did you?
Buick's fresh new lineup is full of surprises.
Get 13% below MSRP on most 2019 Buick Encore models. That's over $3,400 below MSRP on this 2019 Buick Encore Preferred. See your Arkansas Select Buick dealer.
At Pie 5, we encourage you to eat to your own beat. That's why we let you create your own winning flavor combination. Pick your crust, sauce, cheese, and any combination of fresh toppings. Made in front of you in just under 5 minutes. Pie 5, craft pizza. So fresh, so fast.
Help Arkansas declare victory over violence.
You're watching Fox 16 News at 9. Covering Sherwood, Maumelle, Little Rock, and all of Central Arkansas.
He was just a small town personality guy. He'd talk to anybody. Everybody loved to see him coming, and except I'm sure some of the people on the football field.
A sad start to the weekend for many football fans. Former Arkansas Razorback Mitch Petrus has died from an apparent heat stroke.
Mitch was well known and made an everlasting impact both on and off the football field.
Tonight, our very own Wes Moore digging into the Fearless Friday analyst's career and his legacy.
Mitch Petrus walked on at the University of Arkansas in 2005. At first, he was a fullback, but then moved to the offensive line. Former Razorback assistant coach Gus Malzahn coached Mitch in the Arkansas High School Football All-Star Game and again at the University of Arkansas.
He loved football. He had a great passion. Had great positive energy. I can't remember one time that I felt like he had a bad day. He was just one of those real positive people that had great positive energy.
By 2007, Mitch was an all-SEC lineman for Houston Nutt while blocking for Darren McFadden.
You just knew that, he had it. He had this want to. And he had this enthusiasm and this passion, whether he was in the weight room, and he was so strong, weight room or on the field. You just loved his attitude, you loved his energy, and you loved the way he brought it every single day.
Man, that's tough, man. A guy like Mitch Petrus, man, that's a guy he's a joy to be around, man. He can put a smile on anybody's face, brighten up any room that he walks into, man. It's just a tough deal to lose a guy like him so young, man.
Mitch made All-SEC again in 2009 as a redshirt senior. He went to the NFL Combine and put on a show, putting up 45 reps in the bench press, the second most ever. The New York Giants selected Mitch in the 5th round of the 2010 NFL Draft. He started 3 games in 2011 and won a Super Bowl ring with the Giants. His NFL career came to an end in 2013.
I'm Mitch Petrus, and we're here at North Little Rock versus McClellan, and we had the first half highlights coming up.
The NFL's loss was our game. In 2015, Mitch began reporting for Fearless Friday.
Election season is upon us. We got more food than Golden Corral. I'm officially running for Senate. Joe T. Robinson is my running mate. Give it to me, give it to me.
Every Friday night in the fall for the last 4 seasons, he put on a show for high school football fans.
A big man with a big personality and a bigger heart and a bigger smile. That laugh, I'll never forget that laugh.
Yeah. And you know what? You're not going to be able to replace him on Fearless Friday. No. There's just no way.
How did you discover him for Fearless Friday in the first place?
Well, I interviewed him while he was with the Razorbacks, of course, and knew what a great interview he was, great personality. I remember having him on the radio show several times at different stops, and he was always great on the radio. And I thought, you know what? When he was on our Sunday night show as a Razorback analyst, he was fantastic, a great personality, and he wanted to do more. He wanted the challenge, and we threw this out for reporting for Fearless Friday. I think it was his idea, actually. I was like, okay, let me see. We'll run it by the boss.
Let's hold our breath.
He was gold. He was radio gold, and he was TV gold.
Yes, he was.
His personality came through, and his love for football, and especially his love for high school football came out in our coverage, and I think the fans, that's what attracted the fans.
Well, and he has a lot of fans, a lot of friends out there. I know you've been asked to speak at his memorial service.
Yeah, that will be probably one of the tougher days for me as someone who speaks for a living. Sometimes finding the right words are very tough to do, but it was pretty amazing today to see Mitch Petrus trending on Twitter. It wasn't for the right reason, but it just showed how much he was loved, not just here in Arkansas, but around the country.
Yes.
You know, I'm still seeing Giants fans tweeting out that their condolences to the family, but it has impacted so many people, not just here in Arkansas or Central Arkansas, but all over the country.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that.
Coming up in sports, you'll have one more thought on Mr. Petrus. We look forward to that.
We do look forward to that. Thank you. A strange warning for people that live on Banner Mountain in Van Buren County. Beware of a 10-foot boa constrictor. It got away. It's a Colombian red-tailed boa constrictor named Red. The owner, Clint Fry, says he had the snake outside yesterday. It's something he does often. But the snake recently shed its skin and slithered away. Clint looked all night for the snake, couldn't find it. He called Game and Fish, warning his exotic snake was on the loose. He thinks it's close to home, but he hasn't found it yet.
They're real slow. They don't move a whole lot. The smaller ones will climb, but as big as he is, he's not likely to climb. He's more likely to find a rabbit hole to crawl up in.
The snake is typically found in Central and South America. Game and Fish says the boa constrictor, they're large, heavy, non-venomous, and they kill their prey by squeezing them to death. If you see the snake, don't approach it. Call Game and Fish immediately.
Good advice. One Little Rock board member wants to address the city's crime issue in a different way. Dean Petrus says instead of hiring on more police officers, the city should take a proactive approach to stopping crime before it happens. He hopes to do this by improving the city's park system. In a letter he sent to city officials, Petrus says in his more than 20 years as a board member, the park budget has never increased and has only been slashed. He also says a focus on revitalizing the parks could help prevent crime. So far, it's been well received by people in the community.
Folks won't be out here getting killed and stuff over craziness, and they be out here having fun. Kids won't be in trouble.
Rock Mayor Frank Scott Jr. responding to the proposal, saying he's glad the board member agrees with his administration's vision to invest more in the Little Rock Park system, and saying he needs and values the board's wisdom and support to accomplish that.
New at 9, a new office opening in Pine Bluff marks a big milestone for the city. It's the first career center run by an African-American woman. FOX16 Susan O'Corey talking to that woman tonight. And Susan, she's taking another big gamble, no pun intended here.
Yeah, that's right, Donna. This career center is betting on more than 1,000 new jobs in the city, all from the Saracen Casino and Resort, and they're already starting to see some payoff.
Walking in, it's clear this office is a work in progress.
Everyone deserves a second chance.
The stacked chairs and folded tables are doing a temp job.
We will be setting up our computer center here.
While Carla Daniels puts the finishing touches on her Pine Bluff Career Center.
Whatever skill sets you have or whatever issues you may be concerned with, we want to be here to be that sounding board to help you so you can go to the next level as far as career level.
Her first bet is on the city's new casino.
1,100 jobs is a lot of jobs.
Just starting construction, but already hiring.
We have a contract with the casino.
Daniel's gig means she'll be a go-to when it's time to fill those spots.
They're actually hiring in phases, so not to hire so many at one time. They're not just all minimum wage. They'll be hiring accountants in the medical area.
The other focus is helping people down on their luck, with the office staffed by this group of women who have a track record in the community.
We have emergency shelter. We do residential.
Leaving Daniels ready to get this space done.
This is a larger room that we have for more training.
So she can shed light on a job that always needs more applicants.
So we're all here together to help the city of Pine Bluff.
Tells me they've helped hire 30 people for the casino so far, and they tell me the rest of the open positions will be rolled out in stages.
Good for them.
This is definitely good news, and good news for Pine Bluff because lots of people there need jobs.
Yeah, are they just focused right now on trying to fill as many of the 1,100 jobs for the casino, or is their vision bigger than just that?
Well, the casino is just one part of what they're trying to do. They're telling me they're trying to broaden that. They have the job training, resume services. They also are looking at programs for teens. UAPB is also up the street, so hoping to capitalize on all of that.
Yeah. And you know, and the casino will bring other entities, other jobs. So hopefully it'll be a lot to go around.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Thank you.
Still to come tonight, a hero's welcome for a world champion.
To be able to represent you guys and represent this city, it's unreal.
How the city of Cincinnati celebrated. We'll be right back.
I may be little, but I know lots of things. I know how to pull myself up on this chair. And I know that Mom and Dad say to call B.R. McGinty for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing needs.
B.R. McGinty, yeah. The 2019 RAV4.
Don't forget the carabiners.
Copy that. With loads of cargo space.
Carabiners. You find them?
Probably. And the latest tech.
We still home for spelunking tomorrow?
Totally. I love that.
Bye.
It was made for a more adventurous you. Right now, get $1,000 customer cash. Or qualified lessees can lease the adventurous new 2019 RAV4 LE for only $259 a month. Hurry in today. Toyota, let's go places.
Ashley Home Store's breaking all the rules by bringing Black Friday to July. Hurry in today and shop Black Friday-inspired deals on living room, dining room, bedroom sets, and so much more. It's your last chance to save up to 30% or get 0% interest for 72 months. You don't have to wait until the end of the year for Black Friday deals anymore. Hurry, it's the final days of the Black Friday and July sale going on now. Shop and save today, only at America's #1 furniture and mattress store, Ashley Home Store, exit 123 off I-30 in Bryant.
First 6-function multi-pro tailgate, available only on the next generation GMC Sierra.
Step up to GMC with 20% below MSRP on this 2019 Sierra Crew Cab SLE with a standard tailgate. That's over $10,000 on this next generation Sierra. See your Arkansas Select GMC dealer.
Welcome to Shoppers Value Cost Plus Supermarket.
Compare our prices and save here at our friendly Shopper Value Foods.
We make it simple. We price our items at or near the cost it takes to reach the shelves. Then we just add 10% at checkout. This week at Shoppers Value Foods, a 32-ounce bottle of Gatorade is only 66 cents. And Arkansas homegrown tomatoes are just 88 cents a pound. Shoppers Value Foods in Little Rock, North Little Rock, and Benton.
Not all technology is created equal. The 2019 Nissan Altima has advanced tech that Camry doesn't. Altima can see 2 cars ahead to help avoid a potential collision. Connect to your smartphone easily, and Altima can instantly react to changing weather conditions with intelligent all-wheel drive. Guess there's some places Camry just can't go. For a limited time, save up to $3,000 or get a low $239 per month lease on the 2019 Altima.
Fox 16 News is sponsored by Hank Spine Furniture and Mattresses. Fox 16 News at 9. Covering Conway, Malvern, Little Rock, and all of Central Arkansas.
Carrying the World Cup trophy she helped Team USA win, Rose Lavelle set to embrace fans all across her hometown.
Yes, she did. And she did so in the same way they embraced her at a gathering in Cincinnati today. John London tells us all about it.
She hit the stage clutching the World Cup trophy, telling us later she had no idea how that was arranged. But to her hometown fans, as cool as that golden prize is, it was Rose they came to see and cheer. And in her heartfelt, unassuming way, she did not disappoint.
I think Cincinnati has the best kind of people. I think there's so much pride and love here, and like I said before, every time I put on the U.S. jersey, I have so much pride playing for the country, but I feel so grateful to be able to represent you guys and represent this city. It's unreal.
She looked out onto a square full of folks who hung on every pass and breakaway in the cup, especially every one that involved her. Her pre-calculus teacher at Mount Notre Dame remembers how driven and disciplined she was as a young teen.
She was very efficient. She would come into class and be like, what do we need to do? And I'm going to get it done.
She got it done against the Netherlands and recalled to us how she was once that 8, 9, and 10-year-old in a crowd looking up to a champion role model on the local soccer field.
I know how huge it was for me to have Heather Mitz from here make it to that stage and go to the Olympics, the World Cup, and all that. And I hope that I can kind of serve as that same role model to girls in this area and boys in this area, too.
Mayor John Cranley gave her the key to the city, and with her parents, brother, sister, and grandmother looking on, FCC's Jeff Birding handed her a Skyline Chili shirt and gift card. So we asked the lunch question.
Cheese conies with mustard and onions. Yeah.
We asked her that. After all the speeches, she stuck around and she met some of the fans and she signed autographs, and it was awesome.
Yeah, an incredible midfielder. What a great player she is. Yeah. Sports Director Wes Moore, as you can see, is with us. SEC Media Days ends with some predictions from the media.
What's this? Not a lot of love for the Razorbacks. What's up with that?
Well, they went 0 for 8 last year in the SEC.
But
you don't win any games, you don't get a lot of love.
Yeah, but we want them to get love. Come on, things are changing.
Win some games, things will change.
There you go.
I'll tell you about the predictions and the All-SEC preseason team next. Also coming up, we'll check out the third-round scores from the Southern Am at Chenal Country Club. And the Fearless 40 is taking a look at the Conway Christian Eagles. Stick around. Fox 16 Sports is next.
And as we go to break, another thought about Mitch Petrus, who died yesterday. He was part of the Fearless Friday team. Here's Fox 16's Stephanie Sharp.
I just loved whenever he would dress up or make themes for different games that he was at. That was always just so funny. And then you'd see it on Twitter later and watch it and then rewatch it and then watch it again because you just couldn't help but laugh even more.
I'm going to throw it away. Thank you.
Fox 16's Rebecca Jeffrey is live in Little Rock.
Kevin and Donna, details are still coming in, but Little Rock.
He did that at Baptist Hospital.
Stand by.
Kevin and Johnny Benny.
The 2019 Cadillacs are made for summer and made to move. Get 0% APR for 72 months plus $1,000 on most 2019 Cadillac models when you finance through GM Financial. Visit your Central Arkansas Cadillac dealers for this attractive offer.
If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer, surround yourself with our team of experts at Cancer Treatment Centers of America in Tulsa, who is the first hospital in Oklahoma to be awarded the Gold Seal by the Joint Commission for our Lung Center.
Our lung program is evolving as advanced technologies, drugs, radiation therapy techniques, and surgical techniques are available for our patients.
Learn more at cancercenter.com/Tulsa. Appointments available now.
The Arkansas Minority Health Commission is committed to making Arkansas healthier, one free screening at a time. Our new state-of-the-art mobile health unit is traveling to communities across the state to improve your health. All screenings are free and provided by a registered nurse. Educational materials and referrals are also available.
Our mobile health unit is meeting people where they are because your health is our priority.
Find out where we'll be next or request a visit to your town.
Summer isn't long, but summer to-do lists are. Let a Ford F-150 help quickly turn your to-dos into ta-dones. During the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event, get 20% estimated savings on select Ford F-150s, plus earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. It's a hit, so chill and enjoy your summer in America's best-selling trucks 42 years straight. Get in or lose out on 20% estimated savings on select Ford F-150s, plus earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards.
In Arkansas, Fridays are fearless. Get ready for the 2019 high school football season with our Fearless 40, previewing some of the top teams from across the state. Download the Fearless Friday app now and don't miss a thing. Only on Fox 16.
The 2019 Nissan Armada. Intelligence with an attitude.
With 0 down payment, lease Armada, just $468 per month.
Your Fox 16 Pinpoint Radar is sponsored by UAMS for a better state of health. Now, Fox 16 Sports with Wes Moore.
The end of SEC Media Days means the All-SEC preseason team is out, and the order of finish comes out. To no one's surprise, Arkansas is picked last in the SEC West, and just 2 players were recognized. Linebacker Scooter Harris, who led the league in tackles with 118 last year, is on the media's second team. Sosa Agim is a third-team selection on the defensive line. Agim's 10 tackles for a loss last year marked the first time any Arkansas player had double-digit tackles for a loss since Dietrich Wise in 2015.
Tonight's Fearless 40 is sponsored by McClarty Auto Group.
The Fearless 40 takes us up I-40 tonight to Conway Christian. The Eagles won 10 games last year, which included a trip to the state quarterfinals before falling to Mount Ida. It's the 3rd straight year the Eagles season was ended by the Lions. Justin Kramer's squad had a tremendous conference season, going undefeated. Coach says expect the team to run the ball more in 2019.
We feel like our strengths are in the run game this year. We've got some really good linemen coming back, and we've got 3 or 4 running backs that we feel really, really good about. Both quarterbacks that are fighting for the job can throw in and run a little bit. So we feel that'll be a strength for sure.
We've switched over. So we used to be a spread team, and we switched over a little bit. So we're changing things up.
We've definitely got a lot of expectation to be good, but you know that's always the case. So we're used to it.
Conferences in the state is the 7-4A. It's a dogfight each week just to make the playoffs. Fox 16's Ben Creighton has more on the 7-4A from their media day.
Many believe it is the best conference in the entire state of Arkansas. And I'm not talking about just the 4A. The 7-4A conference features a ton of dangerous teams. Heck, you even had 2 of the teams battling for the state championship last year, with Arkadelphia going back-to-back, who didn't even win the conference crown.
If you're not crossing your T's and dotting your I's for every single game, then you're going to lose. In our conference, I mean, there is no week off. So I think that's prepared us. I mean, you know, when you look at playoffs, you look at them as fatal games where it's either win or go home. Well, it's almost the same way in our conference because you don't know how it's going to shake out. You've just got to go out there and you got to play your best football every single week.
Every team, every week. I mean, you're going to have a dogfight. You never know who's going to come out on top. Everybody's well coached, and you know it's really going to come down to who's on that night. Hopefully the ball bounces your way. Obviously last year had 2 of them playing the state championship game. Arkadelphia's back-to-back. Bauxite, they're on their way up. They're doing a great job over there. Missed the trophy last year. I mean, we got a spot over there collecting dust right now. Hopefully we can get it cleaned off.
This is the best conference. You know, I saw that I think the Northeast had a whole Northeast Arkansas media. No, this is a 7-4A conference media day. Just our 8 teams, and because these 8 teams are the best 8 teams put in one conference in the state. And so I think they're the best athletes in the state, too.
Should be interesting to see how this season plays out in the 7-4A. Close to 40 days to go. Let's just fast forward to the season already. Wes, back to you.
The final round of the Southern Am at Chanel Country Club looks to be a good one. John Kiefer from San Antonio and Walker Lee of Houston are tied for the lead at 9 under par with 18 holes to go. Kiefer shot a 6 under 65 today. 12 players are within 3 shots of the lead, including Razorback William Buell, who shot a 66 today. Final round begins at 7:30. And finally, I have one more thought. They say laughter is the best medicine. If that's the case, then Mitch Petrus has been like a Walgreens for me today. If you were ever sick, tired, mad, stressed, or in this case sad, Mitch would make you feel better. Today started with shock, denial, anger, and then grief. But after spending time watching old clips of Mitch on Fearless Friday, I began to laugh. That was his biggest strength, and boy, was he strong. Mitch had a lot of talents. Of course, he was a great football player. He was a musician, a hard worker, a great friend. But what I'll remember is he lived life to the fullest. He never backed down from a challenge. Take live TV, for example. He embraced the opportunity and became a star. Today has been tough, but I know Mitch doesn't want it that way. That's why we smile. From the tiny town of Carlisle to the Big Apple, Mitch Petrus made a huge impact on everyone he met, and that's something we won't forget. But we will miss you, Mitch. It's just one more thought.
Sale at Family Leisure. Now is the time to buy 24-foot pool starting at $17.99 installed. Free upgrades with purchase. Why buy now? Still time to swim. Beat the price increase. And 12 months same as cash. Plus closeouts and scratch and dent specials. Pool clearance sale going on right now at Family Leisure.
Summer nights keeping me up. I wanna waste time just looking up. Sky full of stars. Mind wandering far like we're 16. Dreaming in the dark. Love the wind in my hair as I drive my car.
Finance the Infiniti QX80 for 0% APR for 60 months. Plus, get a special summer bonus at your local Infiniti retailer.
I switched from Dodge.
We switched from Ford.
I switched from Ram. I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy. We switched to Chevy.
For dependability.
For these guys.
And just look at it.
We switched to Chevy.
See for yourself why people are switching at the Chevy All-Star Open House.
Get 20% below MSRP on all Silverado double cab pickups. Or get 0% financing for 72 months on all Silverado LT pickups. See your Arkansas Best Chevy dealer.
Community. It's found in sharing the things we love. Around a table with friends, celebrating life's greatest moments. Wherever we come together, community is working, living, caring for our neighbors. Unity Health, not just healthcare, a community.
Summer's not stopping or slowing down. So take advantage of all of summer's opportunities with our limited time offers while you still can. Hurry into the Acura Summer Performance event going on now.
Visit Acura of Little Rock for attractive offers on the MDX.
Sale at Family Leisure. Now is the time to buy 24-foot pool starting at $17.99 installed. Free upgrades with purchase. Why buy now? Still time to swim. Beat the price increase. And 12 months same as cash. Plus closeouts and scratch and dent specials. Pool clearance sale going on right now at Family Leisure.
There is something up there. That cat was dead. Something that brings things back. Sometimes dead is better.
Daddy.
Pet Sematary on Blu-ray and digital now with a chilling new alternate ending not seen in theaters.
Qualify to win a 2-night stay on the Queen Mary for Dark Harbor, Southern California's most authentic haunt.
Fox 16 is giving one grand prize winner 2 tickets to stay aboard the Queen Mary for Dark Harbor, plus a Blu-ray DVD combo of Pet Sematary. Go to fox16.com to register to win.
Weather with Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin, tonight at 9 on Fox 16. We're watching Fox 16 News at 9.
Covering Heber Springs, Stuttgart, Little Rock, and all of Central Arkansas.
There is some relief on the way, just not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be pretty much the same as today. So if you have any outdoor plans, as long as you can beat the heat, it'll be okay. Rain chances very slim. High temperatures back up into the lower 90s. Not much relief on Sunday, but that front comes through on Monday with a few showers and scattered thunderstorms, and then some cooler and less humid air moves on in. Not
we'll
really
take
typical for late July.
We'll take it.
That's right. Thank you so much for watching.
Have a great weekend, everybody.